Right, good afternoon. My name is Arvind Gujral. I am from BSES. I head the network operations there. And I'll just try and finish in 5 minutes, which is allotted to me. I am speaking from a distribution utility perspective. We all know that the average losses, normally when you talk about T&D losses, there are three components. One is the commercial loss, which can be on account of metering, on account of any leakage or theft or meter tampering. It can be on account of the technical losses, and it can be on account of billing errors, unbilled or improper metering. Typically, we talk about the commercial losses, not so much about the technical losses. My discussion is focused on the technical losses. And typically in the Indian context, in a distribution network, you would expect losses in the range of 8 to 10%. It will obviously depend on the terrain. In a city, it will be less. In a rural kind of network, it's bound to be more. I understand in the Western countries, this would be of the order of 7%. Technical losses are inherent to a distribution network. They can be reduced, but they cannot be avoided altogether. Typically, these are not on the radar of most of the DISCOMs, barring, I think, DISCOMs which are in the region of sub 20% T&D loss, who are closely looking at the technical loss component. It's obviously more complex. It requires more analysis and perhaps technological interventions. Right, so we said that it's inherent to the network. You have iron losses, which are no-load losses as called in transformers, or hysteresis losses. And copper losses are typically I square R losses, which will be there in all components, which offer some resistance or inductance or capacitance. So you will have for all, from transformers to feeders to all elements of distribution network will contribute to a certain extent. Typically, of course, the losses are highest at the LT level. If you say 8%, you would expect about 5% loss at the LT level and about 3% on the EHV, 66 kV, 33 kV, 11 kV, and the transformation losses. Yeah, 8% is the total loss. So if a DISCOM buys at 66 kV, you have feeders coming in, then you have power transformers, 66 to 11, then you have 11 kV feeders. So all that will add to your HT losses. LT loss would be on the LT side of the transformers. So on 440 volt right up to the consumer's premises. The losses depend also on the design parameters of the network elements. All the network components are rated for a particular loss, so transformers would come at a loss rating. There are, of course, initiatives to bring this down by BE in terms of star rating of transformers, which have lower rated losses. There are new technologies available, for example, use of amorphous core, which can bring down the iron losses by as much as 70%. See, I'm talking about the transformer loss. Typically, a transformer loss may have the rated loss at full load of, say, about 1% for a 990 kV transformer. And typically, I think at full loading, the iron loss may be about 25%, 75% would be the copper loss. So it's in fractions, but then you're looking at incremental improvement in the losses. The supply parameters also impact on the loss levels. The power factor, we are all aware, harmonics, imbalance therefore leading to overloading in certain phases. Load balancing is required to be carried at dot voltage levels. PF control typically distribution companies will do at the grid level as well as the distribution transformer level. Harmonics is an increasing area of concern due to extensive use of power electronics, CFL and so on, which are part of the DSM initiatives in many cases, but they increase the extent of harmonics in the distribution network. Typically, as I said, the transformer loss will depend on the loading condition. So you see an example of a typical 638 kVA transformer, which is fairly common in distribution companies in India. So depending on the loading condition, the loss would increase. So at 100%, for example, it's rated at 1.27% loss. What you see at no load, 0.23% is actually the iron loss. The increasing loss is on account of the I square R losses, higher current in the winding of the transformer. Now the problem is that distribution companies don't have a uniform load curve. The load curve will vary depending on the weather. It will vary depending on the time of the day. So you see a few illustrative charts here, for example, for BSES Rajdhani. So if you look at the yellow chart, which is typically for a winter load profile across 24 hours, you can see that the variation is almost 50%. That means the peak load is twice the minimum load. So if you say that the average loss is, technical loss is 8%, we can only imagine what could be the loss at twice at the peak, because the losses are directly proportional to the square of the current. Sorry. Right. Another, I think, factor typical to Delhi, perhaps it's not true of the other metros, I know for a fact it's not true of Mumbai, is that the peak demand is growing at a much faster pace than the input energy, which means that, for example, Delhi city has recorded 5,500 megawatt last year. The demand is expected to grow by 8% in terms of the maximum demand registered. But if you look at the input energy measured as millions of units, that grows only at about 4%. So year on year, the peak is rising, but the input energy in terms of units is not rising. So if you look at this period from, for example, from 2004 to 2012, and this is for the city as a whole, the peak demand has grown by 75%, whereas the input energy has grown only by 36%. That means you are creating more and more capacity to serve lesser incremental demand in terms of units sold. Right, so this is the consequences that you're creating more and more capacity and therefore more and more capex, which will load on to the tariff to meet perhaps lower incremental demand in terms of input millions of units. And because you're selling less, as I said, there's a lesser opportunity to earn, to recover the capex through tariff. And of course, there are higher technical losses at peak loading conditions. So I'm really looking at taking a different look at the technical losses to say that there is an urgent imperative, at least in Delhi, and perhaps it's true of many cities of North with similar weather conditions, to look at DSM and to try and get a more flatter load curve, and therefore, in view of all these factors that I've just mentioned to you. We are, of course, aware of the other imperatives of DSM, optimum utilization of generation, transmission, and distribution assets, because GenCos have a flat load curve, and in the ideal condition, if the DISCOMs had a similar curve, you would have the best utilization of distribution capacity. Same is true of transmission and all distribution assets. DISCOMs typically tie up, their requirement through, the base load is tied up through long-term PPAs, but the peak load power is procured very often through bilaterals, which is at a higher cost. The excess power which is fed back into the system through the unscheduled interchange mechanism during lean periods is actually going at a very low cost. I'm aware, as you are aware, this year we had, even in summers, we had periods when the power was going at 50 paisa or 1 rupee, and which adds to the average procurement bulk supply cost of the distribution companies. And of course, consumer awareness and participation in energy conservation. So some of the interventions which you can have for load curve flattening in terms of DSM is time of the day tariffs. I think Delhi has already made a start. In the last year, we had a TOD tariff for certain class of consumers. It's an incentive to consumers to shift to off-peak hours and therefore flatten the curve. It does not require any new technology. Typically, the meters that are already installed are TOD compliant. It's voluntary, therefore very consumer friendly. It does not require any consumer, education in that sense. The other intervention is demand response. I think it was mentioned by some of the earlier speakers, which is an attempt to shift the load directly through, by contracting with the consumers, either directly by the DISCOM or through a service provider. And lastly, energy storage, which is also, I think, mentioned by one of the previous speakers. TOD tariff, as I said, it was introduced by DRC during the last tariff order. It allowed for, it was applicable for consumers with more than 100 kV of sanctioned load. And basically it allowed for, in summers, a tariff difference of plus minus 10% for the peak hours as compared to the non-peak hours, and winters plus 5% and minus 10%. However, we found that the impact last year was not significant. If you looked at the consumers who were eligible for the TOD tariff, and the impact on the billing on TOD tariff versus on a flat tariff, the difference was only of the order of 2 to 3%. And in our discussions with consumers and with the regulator, it was felt that perhaps the incentive was not adequate for consumers to significantly shift the load to non-peak periods. This year in the tariff order, DRC has increased the incentive. So for summers, the incentive now is plus minus 15%. Winters is plus 10% to minus 15%. Am I already? Yeah? Okay. Okay. Right. So I think typically we find that there are certain kind of loads which a consumer can shift. If you talk about more than 100 kVA sanctioned or connected load consumers, you're talking about commercial and industrial consumers essentially. So if you take an example of a 5-star hotel, for example, there are loads which can be easily shifted. For example, large hotels have a laundry. They can run laundry at off-peak hours. But lighting load, for example, cannot be shifted. There is some load which can be shifted only with incremental capex. For example, you can have air conditioning systems which store chilled water which run during the peak hours, and the chilled water is used to do the air conditioning in the air handling units during the peak hours. So that requires capex. So it was felt that there would have to be a significant difference in the peak and off-peak tariffs for people to be able to or be willing to invest money to avail the benefits of TOD tariff.
I think we can finish now.
Yeah. So I'll just, last point on this, on the DSM is the demand response. A demand response basically is a voluntary reduction of load by a consumer in response to a signal from the distribution company or through an intermediary. So we have worked out a program which has been given to DRC for approval, which anticipates a capacity of 25 megawatt and a contracted requirement of 100 hours a year. So if you take on full capacity basis, it could mean 25 megawatt into 100 hours, it will be 2.5 million units. The typical cost which is being offered to us is 4.75 rupees per unit, which is through a Singapore-based agency, which is a system integrator, Vitrium. Typically, the service provider would in turn offer an incentive to the consumer. So the incentive to consumer would be roughly 50% of this, so about 2 rupees 50 paisa. And the response time is about 45 minutes. So we are keenly looking forward to this approval from DRC. And my only request in a forum like this is that especially for markets and with weather conditions similar to Delhi, I think there's an urgent imperative to look at sponsoring or approval of DSM programs by the regulators. And I think in view of the kind of load profile and the growth in the peak energy, it's going to have a very salutary impact. Thank you.